We found a pretty funny looking sign. That's a mirror. That's funny.
Today we sailed from Tilloo Cay over here to Marsh Harbour. We're anchored by a beautiful little island that I'm assuming is private because it's really nicely manicured, so I don't dare go over there. But we got a couple of coconuts left over. They were drinking nuts I drank yesterday or the day before, I can't remember now. And I'm gonna scrape them up, squeeze the milk out of them, and make some more tasty coconut cream. It does take a little bit of patience, but I've really started to have cravings for these coconuts like every 4 hours. It's going to be hard to go back to not having fresh coconut all the time. And since we're still waiting for the dinghy patch, I got nothing better to do. The only challenge is keeping myself from eating all the coconut while I'm scraping it. This coconut's a little younger. It's kind of softer. The meat is really tender. It almost wants to squish instead of scraping easy, so I'm not sure if it's going to work as well. We'll give it a go, see what happens. The backside of my sheep's foot blade definitely does a better job. This is a Spyderco Enough blade. It's fully serrated on this version, which is the marine version. Of course, it's a rope cutter, so it's fully serrated. I love this knife. It's just the perfect size knife. I like knives anyway, but this is one of my favorites, and it's got just the right angle to that back of the blade, and it's a very square cut off. It's not sharp to the touch, but it's a nice, 90-degree square corner, so it's just perfect for this. Like almost good enough that if you scrape coconuts every day, you could own one just for this and like ruin the blade so you don't have to have tape on it or something. I don't live around that many coconuts usually, so it's gonna stay an actual knife. But man, is it perfect for scraping. Plus if you live somewhere where you scrape coconuts every day, you just have an actual coconut scraper, so I guess that would be another reason not to ruin a beautiful $100 blade. Can't decide if I like drawing the blade to me better or pushing it away. Maybe I just like the variety when my wrists start to hurt from one direction, switch to the other. There's one half, scraped clean, over the back it goes. Got a little bit of rust from the hatchet here. It's definitely not stainless steel, that hatchet. It's a good hatchet, but not stainless. I'm not sure if you can get a good stainless hatchet. I don't know if that's a thing. Probably wouldn't be hard enough steel. Stainless isn't nearly as hard as high carbon. Oh, we have a casualty. Coming, peeling away from the shell, and you can't get a good grip on it. Then it wants to just chunk, which doesn't grind it into small enough bits. Yeah, this endeavor might have limited potential. Number 3. Number 4, I guess that's the last one. Well, those were not as productive coconuts as that giant one I had last time, but the 2 of them about equaled what that one was. So we'll at least get the same amount as last time, I'm assuming, a good 3/4 of a cup or so. I'm gonna rinse my hands real quick and then give it a squeeze. This is thick, creamy stuff. I think I may have to add some water to it just to get it out of here. It's a little dried, maybe because of sitting in the sun. It has a hard time pushing past itself to get out in the open. Oh, cool. Ah, busted it. Squeezed too hard.
Oh man.
Oops. Yeah, it's a little dried out, so it's not really working. I think I'll mix some water in it maybe and hopefully salvage it. It'll be a little more gentle this time. I also added some water to the coconut. It was just really dried out. There was no getting the cream out of it when it was already dehydrated. This, of course, is working pretty good with some water in it. I just don't know how much of that is cream, how much of it's just diluted from me putting water in it. It tastes nice and creamy, so I'd say it's a win. But we definitely lost something by not doing that right away. So I guess lesson of the day is don't let your coconuts sit out in the sun all day, all night, and then all day before you try and milk them. This one's definitely creamier. That's working good though, to add that little bit of water to it. I'm interested to see how much we're limited just by the depletion of moisture versus did we really get all the cream out of them. So we're gonna do like a second press, you know, kind of like olive oil. They do a first press, they do a second press. I'm gonna put it in a different cup though, because I don't want to just dilute that one with water if all we're getting out of the second press is just a bunch of water. Yeah, but even if it was a little more diluted, if you got more out of it, it's not all bad. Skim milk, that's what this is. I'd say it's about half water, which isn't too bad if it's half cream to boot, you know. If I got just a little bit diluted, because most stuff we're doing with it anyhow, we're adding some water to, you know, if you're cooking rice or you're making hot chocolate, you're not doing it with straight cream necessarily, but with a mixture. I'm going to do one more pressing and get just a little bit more out of what's left here. This was the less creamy one, so I don't expect a whole lot more to come out of that. Put the water in there, give it a good little squish. See what we get. That one's definitely mostly water. This less creamy one just didn't have a lot of milk in it. And this one, you can almost feel how much left in it by the feel of it. When it's got a lot of cream left in it, it feels like greasy and slimy. And when it's all squished out, it just gets dry and wet feeling, just kind of like coarse and wet. Kind of interesting. But I think we squeezed all we can get out of those, which is a pretty respectable amount, I think. I'll probably just go ahead and mix the two of these. It's actually a little bit more than we got yesterday, but if you count the amount of water in there in the second pressing, it's about 2 coconuts today to get what we got out of one yesterday. But it was a big, juicy, moist coconut, so that's what you get. We took the coconut cream and turned it into a beautiful curry. It's got some potatoes in there. Sorry, it's so blurry. And we're putting some bacon with it, and we got some fried cabbage, which is just delightful. After Kenzie takes hers, I'm gonna add the spices that she doesn't like, and we'll be ready to rock. Alright, there's the finished product. We've got the curry paste, which you can see down in there. Just a little bit spicy. We got potatoes, some crispy canned bacon, which is really good. We've got cashews in there, and then fried cabbage over there. That is one tasty meal, and I'm so stoked about the coconut milk. It's just going to be fantastic. All right, first taste. A little bit of everything there. Oh wow, that is really, really good. Even though that coconut wasn't as creamy as the one before, that's a good creamy sauce there. This is just fantastic, and it's just got a little bit of spice to it, just the way I like it. It's just perfect. What a meal. Yep. Not bad for something I pulled off a tree. This is just so good. And the work that went into it just makes it all that much better. After we finished eating our curry dinner, we moved over to John Cash Point for the night in order to get a little better protection from the tide flowing between Matt Lowe's Key and John Cash Point. It was definitely better, but we still had to put out a stern anchor and keep a careful watch maintaining tension on both anchor rods all night to avoid wrapping the keel. The next day we sailed around Outer Point and into the excellent protected anchorage inside Marsh Harbour. We're really excited to try out the dinghy with its new patch, and also to go ashore and see what we can find in what looks like a great little town. We were going to search for a couple of grocery stores that we saw on the map at the bus stop, but we crossed downwind of the most heavenly smell of barbecued chicken, and suddenly my priorities changed. Past this barbecue place and it just smelled too good to pass up, so we're getting some chicken. I'm so excited. I haven't had chicken for like a year. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Alright, barbecue. Yeah. Heaven.
Wow, that's a lot of meat.
Uh-huh.
Can you eat all that?
Not right now, but
I'm gonna eat this roll.
We did eventually find the grocery stores, but not until I made an absolute pig of myself and was covered in barbecue sauce.
Oh, that is good. That is so good.
Is it soft enough you don't need teeth?
It is. Yeah. You should try some.
No.
Look here, this doesn't even have barbecue sauce. Oh my gosh, that was the best $10 I have ever spent. I could only eat like half of it, and it's so good. I might have to come back tomorrow. We'll see. This is really good chicken. So we found the grocery store, which was awesome. That's a nice grocery store. Great prices too. We don't have our backpack, so we're gonna come back later. But I got detoured for some chicken, which was a happy accident, you know. Now we gotta see if we can find somewhere to fill our propane tank. We're not empty, but it's less than half full, and we got another 3 weeks probably till we have access to propane, and we don't want to run out, so we're gonna fill it up. So we just missed it by like a half an hour. They're closed, and they're not open tomorrow, so we probably, you know, even if we dropped it off, we wouldn't have got it back tomorrow or anything. So I guess we're stuck here in Marsh Harbour eating chicken for another day or two. No worries. We'll wander around, find some other things we're looking for, spark plug, and maybe ask around about propane somewhere else. Maybe somebody else has propane.
We were absolutely loving Marsh Harbour. What a great little town with a perfectly protected anchorage and no current. We were looking forward to a calm night's rest, but we had no idea what was going to hit this peaceful little anchorage after the sun went down.
That was quite the excitement for this evening.
Yeah, it's about what, 3:45 I think.
Yeah, 3:45 in the morning.
a.m. We just spent about an hour or more trying to grapple this huge, like 50-foot catamaran that broke its mooring right at the windward end of the anchorage. I mean, like way
up
and
there.
It was bumping and crashing through all 50 of us anchored out here in the bay.